you've done visualization stuff as well, especially
Loads.
for performances as well, right?
Performance. Yeah, absolutely.
And I think, yeah, that'd be good to get your take on that as well, like to what degree that was helpful. And like, you know, we know now as well how actually that change that affects your ability to pick up a skill as well. So if you're able to visualize what you're doing and visualize an outcome as well, like, but like really feel it, and it's not just seeing it happen, but like you're
Huge.
living it.
Yeah,
Yeah, you're
it's
living it
huge.
happening. And so that helps to, in terms of dealing with nerves as well. It's like, okay, I've kind of been here in my mind
Yes.
before, you know, and I know what this can be like because of that experience. But there's a depth to visualization which I don't think many people will get, which is you have to feel it when you're visualizing it as well. It's not just like you close your eyes and you see it. It's like you close your eyes, but you see it and you feel it as well.
Feel
Like
that
you're
sensation.
going, yeah, you're literally going, like you want to physically go through the motions in your mind, basically.
Mm,
And
absolutely. Yes.
yeah, yeah.
It's almost like
What would you say about all that?
you've got to make it 3D in your mind. You've actually got to embody the experience. So I'll give you an example. When I used to go on stage, I'd often know the places that I was going to play, even if I didn't. I'd maybe research, or I'd been there to play or to perform. No, sorry, to watch a performance. And it's almost like you've got to use all your senses to embody that 3D experience to kind of quell your nerves. So I would often start from before the performance would start, like, how does it feel to stand at the edge of the stage? What am I looking at? How do I feel in my body? What's on my feet? What's in my hands? How do my hands feel? What can I smell? What can I see as I look around? So it's almost like I'd immerse myself in this sort of weird virtual reality that is the experience and the performance that I was about to do. And then how does it feel to walk through onto the stage? Is anything squeaky? It's so weird. But are any of the floorboards squeaking? What happens when I turn and face the audience? How many people can I see? And it was just, you can kind of get the idea that I immerse myself in the entire experience. Like, what does the page look like? How does it feel when I turn it over? What does it feel? And so it's immersing your senses into this experience before you put yourself in that experience. And that stood me in such firm, like, it really helped my reality, because when you start playing, look at me with my clarinet in my hands, you'd be so used to this experience wherever you are that it wouldn't faze you. And yeah, like you said, when you were doing improv, you'd be like not all over the show for the first, but like for the first few moments, you're trying to understand your environment and get used to it. And then once you've kind of got into it, that's almost like when the fun starts and you're now just playing to the audience. And it's almost like you're now communicating through music to the audience. And that's what I got a lot out of it. And I was always like either a solo player or one of the solo players within the orchestra. And it just became a beautiful thing. Like it's just communication between lots of different people, or you're communicating to an audience, and you're trying to relay emotion and a story. And that's then what it becomes about. You forget the nerves, it all goes, and then it becomes about you expressing yourself through that medium.
That's beautiful. So you'd have a period. Is it like in the beginning, like that height of the nerves, and then does it settle after a period of time, or would it always stay at that level for you?
Oh, it's such a good question. So I would often get really nervous a few days before, like hideously nervous, and then the nerves would start to subside as I got to the performance. And then as I sat down or I was standing or whatever, they'd be height, like I'd probably be at peak as I was about to start to play. But then when you're in an orchestral situation, if you've got something coming up and you know it's coming up, it's not until you hit that point that the height of the nerves will start. And then once you start playing that really, really scary bit, that's when they'll come down. So yeah, it depends on, it depends.
Yeah, so it's the anticipation.
Yeah.
And once you're actually there, it just goes. Whew.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Cool.
And there's such a funny story. Like I was playing a particularly difficult piece once, and every rehearsal I'd feel physically sick to the point where I nearly threw up because it was so complicated and so hard within this orchestral piece. And I probably fucked it up 9 times out of 10, every single rehearsal, to the point that when I got on stage, I was so nervous that I took the wrong clarinet. We have 2 clarinets in orchestral playing, and I took the wrong clarinet one, so I had to go off stage and go back on. Anyway, sat down, just insanely nervous, and it was getting to my bit, and I could see the whole orchestra just like, you could just tell everyone was really nervous for me. Everyone was like, and I knew it was coming. And you know when you're like, shit, I don't know why I did that. I don't pray, but it was like, oh my god. And it came, and you could literally see the whole orchestra, and probably some of the audience just like, and the conductor was like, and I just was like, I just did it. It was like I blew it out of the water. It was like whatever it was, and the whole orchestra just went.
You could feel that energy.
The conductor was like,
"Whoa.
what did you do?" Everyone was like, So yeah, it on the day you just you tend to like it out.
I feel that. That sounds so intense. Like that could just, because this is the amazing thing about it as well. Is like, you know, what we know about these neural circuits and dopaminergic circuits and stuff like that, because something like that can totally wipe you out because of the level of anticipation, the norepinephrine that's flowing through the body, you know, the agitation, the alertness and the focus, and then that happens and you can bring it back down, but then you just have this kind of like energy dump. And but then because you nailed it, then you get that dopamine surge again, which carries you through the rest of the performance. So what is so then, I'm thinking of it as like, in my mind, is like these, you know, these graphs essentially of your nervousness over time. And it's like, so was it, okay, so you're starting the performance, the anticipation is starting, the height of the nerves, you start, and then it starts to come down, and then your bit's about to come up, and then it goes all the way up again, even beyond probably what you started, because you knew your history with this, and coupled with the fact that you've got your whole orchestra fucking freaking out. It's like, is she actually going to be able to do this?
It's so hard, like that.
And then you nail it, like, and through that performance, did the nervousness stay high, or is it as soon as you got into your first
you know what? It's so funny. It's almost like you can hear it come up, you feel it come up, you feel it coming up, and it's almost like I just do this thing where I'm like, now, and then I just do it, and it's like bang, and that's me all over. It's like I'll be a mess until that point, and then it's almost like I just switch on, and then it's done, and then I blow it out of the park, and that's always what happens, and it's almost like I don't even know what's going on. I just play, and because and this is the kind of the point of this whole conversation, is because I'm so prepared. And I know that piece backwards, and I've put myself in that situation a bazillion times, and I've visualized it, and I've done everything that I possibly could do to that point. Generally, no, not even generally, 100% of the time I've done it, I'll do it. So it's just kind of, it shows you how important it is to visualize and put yourself there, really. Even if you're not playing in an orchestra doing anything, if you're in an exam, or if you're in an interview, or if you're in, I don't know, whatever it is that you guys are doing in improv, anything, if you've put yourself in the situation and you know in your heart that you've done everything that you can, there's no reason that it won't go brilliantly. So
you've got 100% success rate with that as well. It's like, I feel like we're gonna fuck it up every time, and then it works out, smashed it every time.
But that doesn't make you complacent. I'm never like, I'll be fine. I'm always like, fuck. And whatever I do, I take that level of preparation into whatever I do, whether it's a program that I'm doing online, doesn't matter. I still have that preparation, and I've visualized a lot of stuff around it. I think you can bring that into anything that you do in life. So
I think you have to. I think this is what you've shown is how valuable that is, and it's something, again, it's something that I do with clients as well, because ultimately you're going for something which you haven't achieved before, or you haven't been down this path to achieve. Again, talking about, let's like, you know, get out of back pain. And you may have been in it for years, so you actually do have to visualize a life for yourself where you do have pain-free movement, you feel comfortable, you feel confident in your body, and you don't feel like anything's going to throw it off. But if you can't do that, then it makes it harder for you to recover, because you've got nothing to there isn't that kind of hopefulness, and there isn't something that propels you towards that goal as much. It's like, yeah, there's something that's okay, you're in pain, and that's a big driver to get you to get out of that. But you also have to visualize what it feels like to be in that ultimate goal, to be in that situation. It's like you can't just be like, I just want to get out of pain. It's like, okay, but
Got to put in the
what does
steps.
it what does it mean to be out of pain? So visualize that life. It's like, what are you doing? Are you going hiking? Are you spending time with your family and friends and not worrying about your back pain? Are you able to be more productive at work and you finally get that promotion because you don't have to miss days off at work and because the back pain's been killing you? Are you going back to playing football or going to jiu-jitsu, or being able to play your your instrument and be able to sit down and be able to handle that and
Yes.
get the joy out of that? It's like you want to be able to visualize that life, because if you can't, then the outcome's harder to attain. And 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 just by visualizing it, you can actually start to feel better as well, right? So
Definitely.
there's the power of that as well, because if you, for example, if you didn't visualize, imagine the level of nerves that you're approaching the scenario with, approaching the performance with. It might actually cross that threshold where it's too
Yeah.
much and you're like, I'm fucked, I'm done, I'm
Yeah.
freezing,
I'm
and
gonna
I've
fuck it
got to get
up.
off
Yeah.
stage.
Yeah.
Yeah.